In this lesson, we're going to take a look at a very iconic bass line from the Grateful Dead in the reggae-inspired tune Fire on the Mountain. And I've been playing the bass line. This is really a two-chord song, very simple, very easy, but I want to show you exactly how to play the sort of written bass line that Phil Lesh plays, and then show you how this relates harmonically so you can improvise on it, because really that is what the Grateful Dead is all about, is all the improvisation that takes place. So the two chords are E major and D major, and when those two chords are played together like that, two major chords, one step apart, the higher chord, the E, is going to be a dominant seventh chord. Even though they might not be playing a dominant seventh chord in the guitars, the harmony implies the dominant seventh. And then the D chord is a major seventh chord. So, the bass line is based around the arpeggios of these two chords. On the E, it's a very simple arpeggio, 1, 5, and 1. We're just using those three notes, the root, the fifth, and the high octave. And then we go down to the D. Now the D uses the third and the fifth in its arpeggio. So that's root, fifth, third, root. Then we go back to the E again. And when the drum beat's played behind that and you get the little offbeat guitars in the song, you have the groove for Fire on the Mountain, and those are the only two chords in it. So it's really that simple. So, but let's take a deeper look at it and see how you might be able to apply the harmony and use the scales involved to do some improvisation on this very simple song. So the E, since it's a dominant seventh chord, we're going to use the Mixolydian scale. And if you remember from your scale exercises, that's a regular major scale except for the seventh degree. The seventh degree is flat. Flat 7. And then on the D chord, it's a major 7 chord, and the scale is Lydian. And if you remember, that's a regular major scale with a sharp 4th degree. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, and the octave. Now, the interesting thing about this is these are all the same notes. So the notes in a D Lydian scale are the same notes in an E Mixolydian scale. They're the two modes on the 4th and 5th degree of the major scale, and they're related to each other. So all the notes that you're playing, even though you're thinking about them in two different scales, they're still all the same notes. And this makes it easy to improvise. Pentatonic now. I'm just sort of moving around those scales. Because they are all the same notes, they connect together. So that's how I'm able to create some of those longer lines by just moving down the scale if I've gone to a high note, then I can sort of walk back down all those same notes to get back into the part again. Now, obviously, this takes some practice and getting used to the patterns that you can use in the scales to make it sound good, but it's all there for you. So once you know the harmony of those two chords and how they're related to each other and the scales that you can use, you're really free to try anything to come up with improvised bass lines. The pentatonic is a great, safe way to get a lot of activity into the bass line without running into any trouble. So you can use that a lot. And I'm really just using box patterns with the major pentatonic scale on both chords to get a lot of those lines going on. That's a very easy and quick way to get into improvisation in this particular set of changes. So, but back to the written bass line. And there you have the Grateful Dead, Fire on the Mountain.